Yo, what's up, everybody? Can you guys hear me? Life, what's up? What is up? What is up? Hope that everyone is doing good. We are gonna do a Nvidia Ansel tutorial and go over the steps and everything that I use to create these photos that everyone's always asking about. So, you know, I'm not going to hide anything. There's no secrets here. Hey, what's up, Lunatic? Yeah, there's no secrets here. I'm going to show you guys how I do this, and you know, again, to help people who are struggling a little bit with Nvidia Ansel. I want to show you guys some of the steps that I take to enhance your photos and get good-looking photos. And then you can take, you know, these skills to other games as well. So, speaking of which, I need to hit somebody up really quick here. Let me see something really quick here. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the game booted up. One thing I am going to go ahead and do during this session is I am going to turn off all the music in the game, so then therefore, you know, it won't cause like a distraction or anything like that. And if you happen to have any questions during the stream, feel free to go ahead and ask anytime. I am more than happy to answer whatever questions that you may have when it comes to this, because some of it can be kind of confusing. Could be a little bit overwhelming at times until, you know, you really have to dive in hands-on and whatnot. And
Raiders detected.
You know,
Welcome.
oh shit, he raided. What's up, Sinbad? What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? I'll be playing a little bit later tonight, but I promised to do an Nvidia Ansel stream first and show people how to do Nvidia Ansel, because I'm getting a lot of requests and a lot of people hitting me up like, yo, what the hell and how the hell are you doing this with these photos and so forth.
Soulcalibur 6.
Let me know if you guys can hear me pretty good, because I have some kids in the background over there doing their own thing, gaming and whatnot. So first things first, like I said, I'm going to go and turn the music all the way off during this session. Hey, Sinbad, thanks a lot, man. Hey, we need to play, dude. Like, me and you need to play. I need that between you and Master CJ. I need that Amy practice, man. I need it. So let me know. Let me know. All right. So some of you are probably asking, nope, not gonna give it to me. Like X? You're gonna treat me like X? But the opposite effect? I see how you are. I will remain ignorant. Wow. 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 So I know, right? That's messed up, Dal. That's messed up. Absolutely 100% just messed up. So for you people that don't know, Nvidia Ansel is the photography program that is available. If you happen to have an Nvidia graphics card, you have to have certain graphics cards in order to be able to use this. And what it is, it's photo mode. And with it, there are certain games that you're able to take photos of, like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Soulcalibur 6, Tekken 7, a whole bunch of games that you can find on their website. Myself, I used to be really big into photography. I still have my DSLRs and lenses and all types of stuff. I used to shoot weddings, senior portraits, family photos, events, things like that. And then, playing Soulcalibur, obviously, that's my favorite game of all time, Soulcalibur. And then when they announced that Nvidia Ansel is coming to Soulcalibur, I was like, well, shit. You guys won me over even with that. So let's go ahead and pull up the game here. And again, if you happen to have any questions during this at any time, feel free to stop me. I'm going to turn off my arcade stick viewer as well. Feel free to stop me at any given time. I will answer whatever questions you may have for me. So this is the real question here. What character am I going to use to edit? I mean, I'm already going to say like Ivy or something, and I could do a couple of photos maybe. But give me a minute. What character do I want to edit? I never did really think about that during this session. What character I should edit. You know what? I tell you what. You hosting me? Screw it.
Amy.
But what color? Nah, not the white hair one. I like blue. Alright. So here we go. Now, the thing is that with anything, especially photography, you want to get a background that will set the mood, set the tone of your photo. I mean, granted, I could pick up Amy here and then go to like you know, like tied it down, but I mean, I don't think it will look as good as say something along the lines of like, you know, the snow-capped showdown, because I mean, you have blues and they go with blues, or any other background. Like this one will look really good, the windswept plains, or even moonlit woods will look pretty good. But let's just go ahead and let's go with no, screw it, let's go here. Hold on just a second. Okay, so I need to change this over to display mode really quick. My phone is blowing up right now. Holy cow. Okay, so you guys still see the game, yada yada yada. You guys can see all this, everything look good. Okay, so with Nvidia Ansel, again, photography mode, named after the awesome Ansel Adams, who was just a badass photographer. So to get to Nvidia Ansel, what you need to do is you hit Alt F2, and what happens is that you get this menu here. Now, as you can see, yeah, well, Sinbad rated me. I got to go over Amy first. He rated me, so got to pick Amy. Mad respect. So as you can see, you now have this screen here, and off to the left, you have what's called filter. And then you have your style transfer, which you don't even want to mess with. Your camera and capture. This is some options here that we will be messing around with. And then down here, you have capture type. You have your screenshots. You have super resolution, 360, which I haven't even messed with, stereo, and 360 stereo. I don't even mess with the last three. The one that I really focus on all the time is the super resolution mode. And the cool thing about this is that, as you can see, when I click on it for the first time, it brings it up to 4K. 3840 by 2160 4K. You can actually adjust this slider to where you could get the highest at 63360 by 35640. That is a 30 gig picture. You don't need anything like that. That's too much. The highest I ever go on my photos is 7680 by 4320. In other words, 8K. That's the highest I go, and there's a reason for that, and I will explain that a little bit later. So now the thing is that you can always, again, Alt F2 and get a photo like this, and you know, it's just Amy just sitting there, but you want to have some flair, you want to have some style, you want to do different poses and things along those lines. So this is where it gets tricky when I do some of these photos, because not only do I have to do the move, also I have to hit F2 during this move. So let's say, for instance, that something along the lines. I don't know all the Amy stuff, so I'm just messing around doing whatever. Let's say like BBB, or is it for BBB? Something like that. Okay. Do the move, and now look. Now I have Amy in her pose, which, by the way, we are going to use it. We're going to use this. Screw it. We're going to use this one. Now, when I do these photos, and this is the very, very important part. Characters in this game, and like most fighting games, especially 3D fighters, have the tendency to have clipping. And what I mean by that is that you'll have her hair, instead of it being behind and looking the way that it is, like the hair will be going through her shoulder, or you know, their fingers will go through the weapon. You know, I try to avoid that as much as possible. Like right now, look, perfect example. Look, there's her earring right there on her lip. See, there's part of her earring right there on her lip. So once I do that, I try to go ahead and get another pose, but possibly without that in there. So see, now I got one, and look, I got a better pose. The earring is not clipped in her face. You see what I mean? It's not clipped. And I always survey the character to make sure that there's nothing as far as clipping, because again, that's very, very important when doing these photos. You want to have your best photos, and your photos look, you know, really, really good. So again, look out for clipping. Now, you could take your mouse and you could rotate in any direction. You could go up, down, left, right. You could go in any direction. Now, to move the camera, it's just like a first-person shooter. They're going to use your WASD keys. And with those, W moves forward, S moves back, A moves left, D moves right. You can use that in combination with your mouse. So as you can see here, I'm moving around. I'm looking up. Hey, what's up, Angel Style? I'm looking down, and you can do whatever it is that you want. You can also move up and down by using the Z key and the X key. X will move you down, Z will move you up. Now, you're probably wondering, because of how slow it moves, you're probably like, hey, how can you make it go faster? If you hold down Shift and then hit it, it makes it go faster. So Shift and then any key makes it go faster. If you want to go slower, Control and any key makes it go slower for fine tuning and angles and so forth. Oh, it's going good. I just started. It's pretty good. Now, you definitely want to go ahead and get your photo in a pose that, you know, suit your needs, that you would definitely like, and that you want to go ahead and customize. So after you find how you want to pose and, you know, see what angle it is that you want to do for your character, you can begin the editing process. Now, this is where it comes into play, because people are like, what do you do to edit? How are you making excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me, my goodness. Damn, you got a 1070? That's awesome. I only have a 1066 gig, believe it or not. I need to upgrade, and I probably won't be able to anytime soon. But one day, and congratulations on getting that. So, myself, no, I like this. I like this pose. We'll go ahead and we'll go with this. You know, I always try to make some sort of dramatic effect, or, you know, make it look pretty good here. There's also, like, obviously photography, rule of thirds and shit like that, but I won't get into that. That's too complex. You guys are going to have to read up on that, or I'll explain it later, one of those two. So let's say, for instance, now I have my pose, right? Amy is in the position that I want her to be in, as far as, you know, posing and whatnot. Okay, so off to the left side, like I mentioned before, you have filters. There's a whole bunch of them. Now, I forgot to mention one other thing. I have a whole bunch of filters. You're not going to see all these filters that I have right out of the gate. They actually released new reshade filters on their website in order for you to get more options for your photography. And I will actually post that link here in a moment and show you guys how to get these. And I'll also will post it on Twitter. And this is also going on Facebook. Jesus, it's not going on Facebook. It's going on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube, and I'll post the link there as well. So now that I have, again, this ready to go, I'm going to show you guys some tips and my process on editing photos. So the very first thing that I'll always do, no matter what, right out of the gate, look for details. Now, you're looking at this and you're probably like, well, that looks all nasty and crunchy, because it is. This is where your fine tuning comes in. What I do is that I get rid of the bloom, because when you have blooming makes your photos all crazy and whatnot, and you don't want that. I turn off bloom. HDR toning, I turn this down even to the negative side of things, because if you have too much HDR, again, it looks crunchy. If you have too little, everything is too dark. What you want to do is try to establish a balance. All right, so again, you want to try to establish a balance. I myself personally go anywhere between -30 and -35. Okay. Clarity, I turn all the way up, and you'll see why. Now, one thing, and this is, I know a lot of this because of photography, right? If you turn clarity down, it makes everything ghost-like and smooth, but if you turn it all the way up, it makes everything too grungy looking, and I don't like that. Well, take that back. In this case, you want to go for this style here, because I'll tell you why in a moment. But notice when I did everything, the colors are totally off now. They're not the original colors or close to the original colors that I had. So once you get done with this and you do your clarity, your toning, and your blooming, leave sharpening alone, and I'll tell you why a little bit later. Once you get done with that, you press the up button on details and it hides it. You hit the plus sign, you'll get another filter. You can stack filters in order to achieve results that you want. And yes, you can stack multiples of the same filter if needed. So the next thing I do is that I want to go ahead and bring that color back in. So I go to color. Now right out of the gate, it's going to look all funky. Colors are not going to be right. Easy fix. Take your tint color, bring it all the way down. Take your tint intensity, bring it all the way down. Take your temperature right here, leave it alone. Take your vibrance and turn it up. I turn mine up to about 30 and 35-ish. Sometimes I'll even push it a little bit more depending on the background that I am using. But let's go ahead and keep it around 34. And as you can see, now you have more details in your photo right out of the gate, and your color is now preserved. So once you are done with that filter, go ahead and close it. This is the one where all the fun comes into play. This is one of my favorite filters, and you'll see why. The next filter I use is cinematic depth of field. And you're probably like, wait a minute, it's all blurry and so forth. And again, this is one of the filters that you won't get right out of the gate, but there is one called depth of field. And it's kind of like this one, but this one is a lot more advanced. It has a lot more options and is used like a real DSLR. So let me go ahead and you uncheck the mouse driven box, uncheck the autofocus box, uncheck the show out of focus box. Now, if you notice, the sword itself is actually in focus, but she's not. This is where you use your manual focus option. And what you want to do is that you want to go ahead and play around with it until you see how your photo looks like in focus. Now, one thing about this is just like a true DSLR. You also have a focal length down here. Myself, I like to shoot at 135 millimeters. Now, the good thing about this is that you take a look, and the higher you turn it up or you turn it down, It's just like a real lens. Things are going to be in focus. Things are going to be out of focus as you turn it up. That's how you're able to blur your background, or what is called bokeh. Myself, one of my favorite lenses is either the 135. Sorry, I got people walking in the background and all that stuff, and people just doing things. It's fine. But however, like I said, here's your manual focus. And when you do that, again, it will change whatever it is that you're trying to get in focus. So myself, it looks best at 16. One other thing that you want to go ahead and do, all right, is go ahead and take a look at, where's that?
Twitch Prime sub received. Generous and clever.
Yo,
Bravo.
Codex with the sub. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then another thing that you want to go ahead and do is that I don't touch any other options except for far plane max blur. And what that does is that if you take a look here, it will adjust your background. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm turning it up pretty high here right now. And I'll tell you why. So, depending on what resolution you want to go ahead and have your photos at, it necessarily won't keep it at the same intensity that you have your photo. So, for instance, if I do it like this, the background still might be in focus. And I will actually show you a photo and as to why. So myself, I always turn it up to about 360 for right now, 3.60. Hey Jay, how am I doing? The tutorial is really interesting for all kinds of games. It definitely is, and I love it for Soulcalibur, which is why I wanted to show you guys on my procedure and the actual steps that I take, because I'm getting a lot of people like, hey, how the heck are you doing this, so on and so on. And thank you very much for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. One other thing you want to mess around with is your aperture. Your aperture is what actually will make your photos come into focus and out of focus, and also affect your background. What's up, Brew? How you doing? Myself, I will always turn it up to a good significant amount, because if you notice, the higher the number of aperture, the more stuff is going to be in focus. Lower the number, everything's going to be out of focus. So I also will try to establish a good balance here with this, as well as my manual focus, because once you adjust your aperture, you're able to mess around with your aperture as well. So you know what? One thing I'm going to do here, I'm not going to do 135. I'm going to drop the focal length down to, we're going to do 86. Unfortunately, it will not let me do 85. And 85 millimeter is a real lens, but it will not let me do it. So, unfortunately, I can't do that. We're going to go ahead and fine tune this a little bit more, about right there. Screw it. So, again, you always want to mess around with the aperture in combination with the focal length, in combination with the manual focus. Yeah, this freaking character is a pain in the ass to fight. You just don't know, Brew. Holy shit. Cute, but she's a pain in the ass. This character is fucking nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking. Let me see and mess around with this. And again, you want to go ahead and do this to your liking. Myself, I always, again, tend to try to keep everything in focus as much as I can. My phone is blowing up. I'm getting all types of tweets and stuff here. I appreciate it, guys. So again, you want to establish a balance with your manual focus, your focal length, and your aperture. And the biggest thing is that you always want to try to separate your subject from your background, because believe it or not, when you take a look at stuff with your eyes, like if I focus on this microphone here, everything else is blurry and it's weird. And that's the way photography sees itself. So, again, keeping it about right there around 16. And remember, this setting's not going to work for every photo, but this is just a setting that you want to do for this particular photo. Again, it depends on focal length, manual focus, and your aperture. And then from there, I leave it alone. Now, one thing I always do here, just to make sure that everything looks good the way I want it to, I stop and I actually take a photo. So I take a look at it in 6K. I take a look at the photo in 8K. And then that way I can make other fine tuning and adjustments along the way. So I am going to go ahead and snap a photo here at 8K. Sometimes it could take a while in order for it to get itself ready. And there you go. And this is, again, just for me to go ahead and take a look at the photo, see how it looks, and see what other adjustments I can make. From there, I'm feeling okay. From there, what I do is that I actually, why is that up? I don't understand why that's still up there. We'll just close that, whatever. What I do is that I get my folder out. I actually have a dedicated folder with all my Soulcalibur photos in it. And there are a shit ton. So let's give it a moment here. Folder's pulling up. Okay, yeah, there it is. And get down to the end. And let's see how this photo looks. It's taking its time for some apparent reason. What is going on? Okay. Okay. All right, there we go. So, see, there's the photo I snapped. And upon looking at it, I could just tell that there are some things I want to adjust a little bit more. Like the background is, I want it to be out of focus a little bit more, but the subject is in focus and looks great. So I just really want to work on the background a little bit more and make it out of focus and maybe zoom out a little bit in order to fine tune it a little bit more. But this is just an 8K photo, not even fully tweaked. And, you know, I mean, I only did, what, 3 things, and there you go. I mean, it just shows it right there what you could do. Oh, that's my Setsuka photo from last night that I did there. As you can see, the background and everything and what I did there. So then I go back to the photo. I think about what I want to adjust a little bit more. I might want to go ahead and turn it this way. You know what? I might even want to zoom in a little bit more. It depends. Yeah, and keep it like this. We're actually going to zoom in a little bit more. About like that. One other thing I forgot to tell you, and I'm so sorry. If you actually want to see your photo in full screen, hit the insert key, and you can still move it around. You can still move around and do whatever it is that you want to do in order to fine tune your photo. And you know what? This is almost the same that I had it. So we're just going to keep it. Screw it. Now, back to what I said. I wanted my background to be out of focus a little bit more. So you could go ahead and use the far plane max. I'm going to max that out. Then I'm going to go ahead. And one thing that you can add is a depth of field filter. What depth of field is the same thing as cinematic, except you don't get as many options. As you can see, you got your focus depth, and that's just about it. When you pull this down, it makes things go out of focus, you see. When you move it up, it gets things in focus. But what we're going to do, because it's right here, and I want my background to be out of focus a little bit more, I'm going to pull it down. Now, one thing I do is that I don't pull it down to where everything is super, super out of focus, because I like to have things in focus a little bit. I'm going to give it about 39. The blur radius, what that does is that if you take a look, it makes things out of focus even more and spreads the radius on objects. I don't like that to be too high. As a matter of fact, it's at 50. I don't even like that. I'm going to bring it down a little bit to about 25. Then what I'm going to do is snap another photo just to make sure it looks good. Yeah, there's times in which I will spend hours on one photo, depending on how I want it to look. I spent about 3 hours on a Setsuka photo one day because I could not get the pose right. And I was super, super upset. And then I finally got it. and it looked good. So see how it's separated a little bit more now? See how the background is a little, just even a little bit more. I'll go to the previous photo. You may not be able to tell it from there, but from there to there, like look at the mountains right here. You see this right here? Granted, it's a totally different pose, but if you take a look, not a pose, but a position slightly, there's just a little bit of a difference right there that separates her from the background. It makes a big difference. After depth of field, one thing that I will go ahead and use. So there's different sharpening tools that you're able to use, okay? You're able to use regular sharpening, but with the actual filters, the new ones that you could download, you could use what's called Luma Sharpen. And what Luma Sharpen does, it actually adds, in my opinion, it enhances the sharpening. Now, when it comes to sharpening, and I see this all the time, and I cannot stress this shit enough, whether it's in Ansel, whether it's in real photography, do not, under any circumstances, crank up your sharpening that high. You do not want to crank up your sharpening to the max. You just don't want to do that. It destroys photos. It causes halos around the people and whatnot. You don't want to do that. You want to establish a balance of your sharpening. When it comes to Luma, the highest I go is 0.095. And this one, we're going 0.085. And if you have a hard time adjusting the actual slider, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard too to go left and right. Forgot to mention that. I'm sorry. So you could go 0.85. That looks good. We could go ahead and keep it there. One other thing that I always like to fiddle around with, and again, this part is somewhat optional. Well, everything is optional. But one thing I like to use just to see how it looks, old film. So as you can see with old film, look what it does. It does exactly what it does, or what it says. It makes old. Now, one thing I always get rid of 100%, I get rid of the film dirt strength. I get rid of that. Now, I also get rid of vignetting. I don't like vignetting at all. Now, the reason I did this filter is because once you turn on the filter strength, you'll see a difference in your photo. You see how it is a matte look now instead of a bright, vibrant look. With old film, you're able to achieve a look like this. So just to compare, look at this image here, and I'm going to remove this filter. Boom. There's the difference between old film filter and then also keeping it normal. Like, I use it in different moods, like when I'm in different moods, but I think lately I might even keep it as a signature style, just for the simple fact I like the way it looks. Like, it looks good. It looks really good. I like it. I like it a lot. Give me one moment. Okay, so there is that as well. And again, that's the style I like to use. I like to use old film. We're going to go ahead and keep it. There's other filters that you could definitely use here, depending on the subject and how everything looks. I might use ambient light. I don't think I like it on this photo. Yeah, I don't like it on this photo. But with ambient light, it's exactly what it is. You're able to go ahead and add things as far as a light source to the photo. Myself, I don't like it on this photo, so I get rid of it. And there's a whole bunch of different filters and stuff that you could use here too. Again, there's blooming, there's brightness and contrast that you could even use to fine tune even more. You could even do an old school CRT look if you want. I don't know why. I think it's kind of cool in some aspects. You can use cartoon. I haven't even really used cartoon or anything. You turn up the power, there you go. There's a cartoon look. I don't like it. Clarity, there's color matrix, which you could just adjust different colors and stuff. Again, I don't play around with a lot of this stuff. I really don't. I don't even really mess around with this. I mess around with what I need, and that's just about it. Curves is a big one, to where you want to go ahead and darken or brighten your subjects and add more depth. You can. Curves, I don't even mess around with that much either. The ones I use are the ones you actually see. Believe it or not, those are the ones you see, minus curves. I really don't use anything else. Like film it pass, I don't even really use. You know, all this other stuff I really don't use, but there was just certain ones that I will use in order, again, to make it stand out. So myself, one that I will use, I will use tilt shift. Okay. Tilt shift, what it does, I don't know if you've seen a tilt shift lens before, but what that, what that enables you to do is to blur out any portion of the photo by you controlling it. Like, it's weird. On the lens, there's like a little lever, and you can control how you want to blur your subject, and it's just like this too. So the cool thing is that you could go ahead and up the blur curve, and you can also change the size of how much blur you want. So right now there's no blur, and if you take a look at the bottom and top, you see how it's blurring. You could go ahead and do that. Now, one other thing that you can do is change the axis of it, so then therefore you're not going to be stuck just at the top and bottom. You could go ahead and rotate this around any which way that you want to, and as you can see on the screen, it's actually showing it where it's blurring. Myself, I do tend to use it once in a while, especially when there's a subject, or when I want to try to hide something like clipping. Sometimes you could use it to hide, so then therefore you're not able to go ahead and, you know, see whatever it is that you're clipping, or have a nice effect. So myself, we're going to go ahead and keep it like this. And, you know, I mean, believe it or not, taking a look at this photo here, like, we can just go ahead and snap a photo now and just see how, you know, how it turns out. Let's go ahead and see how this turns out. And again, this is at 8K. Now, something I want to explain to you guys, and I hope I explain this as best as I can. The higher your resolution, sometimes you're going to lose detail. You're going to lose things. And if you notice, the higher your resolution, a light source may not look the same once you snap it in 8K. And then if you go down to 6K, that light source might be there. Or if you go to 4K, it'll definitely be there. But there is a significant difference when you increase that resolution on your photos. It makes it look good. So let's go ahead and take a look now and see what this looks like. See, that's the photo I just did. It's in 8K. There's all the filters I applied. So you can see the tilt shift. You can see that it's an old film, and so on. Now, let's say, for instance, that you're like, I like this photo, but I want to go ahead and change the position. Just like I said earlier, feel free to go ahead and change whatever it is that you want with this photo. Like, you can go to the side like this if you want. You could go anywhere. You could go up. You could go down. You know, feel free to adjust and move around so you can see how your photos are from all angles. Hey, what's up, Lost Method? I've been playing Soulcalibur every day. Like, every single day I've been playing. Like, for instance, here's another angle, different angle. So you could take a photo there. You could just go here, boom, done. There's your photo. You could go ahead and go from, you know, this side. You could go straight forward. You could go any which way you want to. So one other thing as well that you can do to make your photos vertical, you use the Q and the E keys, and what that does, that rotates your photo. Now, to capture a vertical photo and have it post without cropping, rotate it whatever which way you want to. You can rotate it 90 degrees. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll turn my head. I know that's weird, but that's something that happens when you're doing these, so then therefore you can see the angle that your photo is going to be in. So let's say, for instance, I go ahead and I do it like this. See, and I don't like the way it is, so one thing I need to do is go higher, look down, and then rotate. And then you can adjust it however which way you want. And see, just like that, went ahead and changed the angle of this. But now you have to remember your other filters and stuff might still be on. So in this case, I want to turn it off. I think it looks good. You can snap a photo. And also when you snap your photo, you can actually put your photos in a separate folder, so then therefore they're not going to go ahead and eat up any other photos, or not photos, get mixed up in any other folders is what I meant to say. So now I'm going to go ahead and take that photo, and when I load it up, it's going to be sideways. Easy fix. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Boom. There's a photo of Amy right there. There's a photo that we just took of Amy right there. It's now vertical. And I mean, this is just the beauty of this program and what it is that you're able to go ahead and do. There's so much to learn. There's so many techniques to do. If I publish what against Salt Flats, you mean the link as far as the other filters? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'll grab that here in a moment. But that right there just shows you that, you know, photography, you can do whatever you want to from whatever angle you want to. Like, for instance, let me go back. And how about we go even closer? Then we go up higher. Go down a little bit. Oops, wrong button. Rotate. Let's say, for instance, that you wanted to get closer, or even closer like this. Okay. Now you notice again, because you're zooming in. Okay, you're zooming in. You're going to have to make some adjustments as far as your manual focus is concerned. So never close out your filters. So then you want to go ahead and go back up to your cinematic depth of field. You want to go to manual focus. And look, how about that? Just a quick adjustment and boom. Now on this one, I do want to go ahead and add the tilt shift. Give it a nice little flare. Yeah, Nvidia Ansel is amazing, man. It's so fun. Like, I haven't even taken any other photos with the actual program itself, but it's such a fun thing to do. We're gonna go ahead and drop the size down a little bit, and I want to rotate it a little bit as well. Like, I want to go ahead. Oh, I didn't grab it. I'm gonna go and rotate it a little bit. Let's see here, and I want to keep it. Let's keep it about right there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and snap that. Thanks a lot, man. Okay, so I want to say something here, and I want to give shout outs to two people that really got me into Nvidia Ansel a lot. The first one is Skull. You guys need to go check him out. Skull, he's on Twitter, and he's a big Nvidia Ansel fan too. He told me some secrets and whatnot, and told me something that really has changed the way I shoot. And the biggest one as well is Nick Valencia. Okay, so before I dive a little bit more, there was a competition, and I don't know if you guys remember this. There was a Soulcalibur 6 photo competition, and whoever won this competition got the Kwamba Obsidian Soulcalibur 6 fight stick, and also a Sophia statue that was, I think it was either silver or gold. And I entered, and then I saw his photos, and I said, if anyone beats me, it better be that guy. And he beat me. His photos are absolutely phenomenal. And I'll post links to those guys as well. So now let me go ahead and get this pulled up here. I took that last photo. And why is it just sitting here? Come on, come on, come on. What's going on? There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and load it up. Sometimes it takes a while for this thing to load too. So I don't know if it's my PC or what, but I'm going to shut it down. Shut that down. There's my background, as you guys can see. And then sometimes I have to go back and reload it again. So I'm going to click on it. Boom, there it is. Let's rotate. And you know what? I like that so damn much. I'm actually going to fine tune it a little bit and post it. I'm actually going to fine tune this one a little bit more in the background. Blur it out a little bit more and post it. I like that shot. I like that shot. One thing I always do is I zoom in too to see if I missed any additional clipping that maybe has happened, how sharp it is. And this is at 8K. This is an 8K photo. So again, what I do is I shut back down. And it's a lot of trial and error with Nvidia Ansel. It really is, because there's going to be times where you like a photo, and then there's going to be times where you spend hours and you're going to try whatever it is that you can to try to get the photo that you want, and the shit just does not come out right. So I'm like, you know what? There's times where I'm just like, you know what? No, forget it. I'm not even going to bother with it. I spent 4 hours for, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it may be, trying to get this photo done, and I can't get it. And I can't get it. So it's like, you know what? Sometimes it's not the right time to get the photo that you want, and you shut it down, and then you go back and you try it again. So yeah, it can be a pain in the ass sometimes. Okay. Let me go ahead and mess around with this a little bit more. And we're going to snap this one. My phone is blowing up. It is blowing up like crazy. All right. Any questions for anyone while I'm doing this? Like, I want you guys to, to ask me whatever questions that you may have. I know I'm not the perfect person to teach tutorials, but I at least wanted to show you guys what I know and what I'm able to do and how it works with Nvidia Ansel with me. Okay, I think I blurred it a little bit too much in the background. So right there, I'm just like, I don't like it. It's too much. That's where you bring it down a little bit more. Bring it down a lot more, actually. You know what? Let's keep it about 51. Then I snap again. Like I said, you're going to be taking multiple photos to actually get the one that you want. Like, there's times in which you will sit there and you'll look at a photo, like I said, and you're like, it looks good. And then you're like, no, it looks like shit. And then you're like, well, this one looks like shit, but no, this one looks good. So, like I said, it's a mixed bag. And see, I like that one a lot more. If you go to the one before it, it's way too blurry. And for my liking, that one, it's a lot better. For me, it's a lot better. But, that's pretty much Nvidia Ansel in a nutshell on how I edit my photos. Since I have a set pattern on how I do it, I'm really, really fast with it. Like, I go in there, I pose real quick, I'm like, hey, I like this, boom, boom, boom. Does it look good? No. Do I need to do it a different way? Yes. Etc., etc. So, I mean, again, it really does, after you get accustomed to it for a while, you'll be able to work at a different pace. And if I even wanted to go in closer, you can. Like I said, I mean, it's on how you want to do this. Like, you can even do something like this and keep it, horizontal if you wanted to. Myself personally, I like the vertical shot. What's up, Agnostic? It's a lot of fine tuning and a lot of adjusting on how you want to do this. And see, again, once you move, keep in mind and always remember, look how blurry the photo is. You have to go back to your cinematic depth of field and always change things. Always look. Okay. And sometimes what I'll do, but I know that it's crazy, but gotta like turn my head to see how I want to adjust this photo. Remember, insert will remove the sidebar. And you know what? I'm going to snap it right here. It's going all right, man. I just wanted to show people some Nvidia Ansel, some of the techniques and stuff that I do in order to achieve the photos that I do. I'm going to be up super late tonight. I'm going to be watching the Korean tournament for Soulcalibur as well. So, you know, I had a really bad day, guys. I had a very, very bad day. And you know, I guess now is the time to... Well, I'll talk about that actually after the tutorial. I was going to talk about it now. We'll wait till afterwards. So, because I'm going to stop this portion here. And then I'm going to go ahead and boot up the stream again. So then therefore I could take this whole video and put it up on YouTube. So let's take a look at the last photo that I did. See? Just a difference that it makes from making an adjustment from one angle to another angle to another angle. Your eye, you'll train your eye to try to take photos the way that you want to. You'll train your eye. Like I like this one. There's some empty space there, so I was like, you know what? Zoom up and do it like this instead. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I like it a whole lot. Which is why I am actually going to take this one and post it. I like the way it looks. Any questions, guys? If not, it's okay. You can always message me on Twitter, message me on Facebook, message me on Discord, whatever, and wherever you have questions. Again, you just feel free to ask me whatever it is. I'm also, again, going to be posting that link on YouTube. Oh, I forgot to say one other thing as well. So, the thing is that, if you notice, during CEs, you can't take photos, right? Normally, you can't. You normally can't take photos. However, the only time I use this program is to take photos at any time, and that's Cheat Engine. What Cheat Engine does, it disables, excuse me, it disables to the point where normally you can't take photos in like CEs and REs. With Cheat Engine, it enables you to do just that. You're able to make characters disappear, so then therefore Talon won't be in the background, and you just want your one character there and focus on your one character. Talon won't be in the photo, or whoever it is that's player 2. There's all types of stuff. You can make it go in slow motion to capture better angles if you want to. Things like that. Myself, the only thing I use Cheat Engine for is to capture when they are doing CE and when they are doing reversal edge and other moves that you normally can't do. That's the only time I use it. I don't even use the slow motion, anything like that. I just use it for Ansel purposes only. That's it. Like, let's pick a different character real quick, and I'll just give you a quick example on how that works.
Welcome to the stage of history retold.
Give me one moment here. All right, so I already enabled it, and watch this. We're gonna go Ivy here. Now, when you go from one stage to the next and character to character, all your settings for Nvidia Ansel are going to go with you. The only time they go away is when you actually just shut the game down. So keep that in mind. So now, see, now I'm able to stop it. Normally you can't stop it there. I'm able to stop it now. And as you can see, like I said, all the other settings are there. Some of these settings will not work and look good in other backgrounds. So again, make your adjustments as you see fit. See, like now, these are the settings from the other side, the other stage, and I don't like it. You know, it's way too dark. So you're gonna have to make some adjustments. And see, just like that. You're able to stop and then go back in, stop and go back in. Dang, phone is blowing up. So again, it's all going to be dependent on how you want your photos to look. You definitely, again, don't want to use a lot of clarity. You don't want to over sharpen. You don't want to over do HDR and things like that. You always want to try to maintain a balance when it comes to your photography and your photos there. So again, let me go ahead and post that link for the other filters, just as promised. Maybe get on Twitter here. Give me one moment. Okay. That link right there will take you to the new filters. You scroll down. They're called reshade filters. There's a lot of paragraphs. It talks about them. Then there's going to be a link that says included in our collection of curated reshade filters. When you click on that, it will give you a zip drive. You just got to unzip it. And once you unzip it, it will automatically be part of your Nvidia Ansel collection. So again, I really hope you guys liked it. I am going to go ahead and post this photo here. Give me just one moment. Let's see. Give me one moment here. Let me see. So the one I want to post, I'm going to post that one that was the close-up. The last one I did. We're going to post this one. This is the photo. Oh, this is the end result. Or talk to myself. Okay. So one thing I always do, I always take my photos and I post them on Twitter so then everyone can see them. Because apparently when I post these, people are like, what the hell? And so on and so on. And then they're asking me where, you know, what did I do? How did I get it? You know, and so on and so on. And I want to thank every single one of you as well for always watching, always giving me the support, always, I could be having a very, very terrible day, and you guys are still here. Like today, I'm going to close down the stream real quick, stop this, and then come back and tell you guys about my day and all this stuff and how crazy it's been and so on. I'm going to go ahead and tag some people here, though. I'm going to tag. So he can't be tagged in photos, so this is what I'll do. Tag Okubo. Soulcalibur community. Who else plays Amy? Like, who else plays Amy? Fire plays Amy. I'll even tag 8-Way Funds in it because he played Amy too. I'll tag Kayane in that too because that. Okay, so I'll do that. Okay. Boom. Done. Done. All right. Everyone, give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and restart the stream. We're going to go ahead and play. Again, if you happen to have any questions, comments, concerns, anything along those lines, feel free to go ahead and get in contact with me. I'm going to go ahead and post this on YouTube. Ugh, child. All right, I'm going to go
Can I
ahead.
ask your chat something real quick? I'm not gonna say if you're bad.
Don't troll. Yeah, you can ask.
But
Yeah.
I said,
Go ahead.
should my dad play Battletoads?
No, I shouldn't play Battletoads
Yes, you
tonight.
should.
Not right now.
It's a good game.
Not right now.
Restart it.
It's Soulcalibur time right now.
Plus, even if you don't, I mean, even if you do, I'll be able to play with you.
Yeah, no, but it's
And I
Soul
can
Calibur
play
time
better.
right now.
And I know how.
Everyone, again, thank you very much for your support. Give me a moment. Give me about 5 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and throw down and play some Soul Calibur, and I'll be back with you guys. Okay? Give me about 5 minutes. Talk to you then.